Hello everybody, welcome to the United Stand and welcome to the return of the chart show. Surely we're going to get 1,000 likes on this. Yes, it's time to pump it up. The chart show is here and it's got a twist. If you don't remember what the chart show is, it's very much in the theme of Top of the Pops from years gone by, where we used to have a countdown every week for the top 10 songs. Well, now we do it for the top 10 Manchester United players. From 10 to 1, our top 10 players based on the first 3 games, but it will be weekly from now on. So after the Man City game, people can move up and down based on their performance. But more importantly, this year, it's not just about my opinion. It's about your player ratings over the last 3 weeks. And this is why it's very important to register for player ratings and get involved, because it will have a direct impact on the chart show. So without further ado, let's go in with who is in at number 10 this week. And remember, 11 players are picked, so some have actually missed out completely. But in at number 10, it might be a shock. His name is Bruno Fernandes. So Bruno Fernandes is number 10 this week. This is based on the first 3 games. I mean, I gave Bruno man of the match against Burnley, but his average score, community rating by you, is 5. 6 is average, so across the season so far, not necessarily a great start in the eyes of you. He's number 10, even though he's our captain. Did cost us a goal against Fulham. I thought he did all right against Arsenal. I thought he did all right against Burnley, but you know what? You are the judge, and Bruno is number 10. In at number 9, obviously everyone's a new entry this week, but we will have next week new entries, drops, everything like that. In at number 9, Casemiro. Bruno's partner, he's got an average rating of 5.3 across the first 3 game weeks. 5.3, it's below average. I hope United players are looking at this and looking at your votes and going, I want to be in the top 5. But 5.3 is not actually a good score across 3 games. 6 is average and it's 5.3 for Casemiro. We need this midfield to do better. And I can tell you straight away, Mainoo's not in the top 10. Hasn't played enough minutes. So there we go. In at number 8, probably another surprise, it's Ahmad. His community rating across 3 games, 5.6, which is better. But he's had a mixed start to the season, hasn't he, Ahmad? I mean, I'm trying to think. I thought he did all right against Arsenal. Fulham, maybe not as much. Burnley, ups and downs. I think Ahmad's not had the best start to the season. I think he's a fantastic player. I'm sure many of you agree with me. Not had the best start to the season, but he's already ranking above Casemiro and Bruno with a 5.6. And hopefully he can kick on now because he is being asked to do a new role. It's a big season for him. Now, in at number 7, this might be a bit of a surprise. Wait for it. It is Luke Shaw. Your mum's on benefits. FC. He said it, not me. So Luke Shaw in at number 7 with a community rating of 5.9. Now I'm starting to get encouraged because if average is 6 and number 7 is on 5.9, we're very nearly hitting average player ratings here. So Luke Shaw in at number 7 with a 5.9. I mean, look, Luke Shaw's probably had quite a 6 start to the season, hasn't he? He's been quite steady, to be fair. He has been quite steady. I mean, that's a compliment. I mean, he's fit. He should get an extra point for being fit. And I don't mean looks-wise. I mean, physically, he's stayed fit for the first 3 games of the season, not been injured, which must be some sort of world record. So, yeah, look, a good start for Luke Shaw to be in at number 7, because let's be honest, he's not necessarily... I wouldn't say he's the player that the fan base have got the most confidence around. In at number 6, and I'm really pleased about this, 6 is Dorgu. Again, it might surprise some, but I actually do agree with this. He has an average rating of 6, which is average. But I actually think that he started the season off quite well. Obviously, he didn't play against Burnley, but I think against Arsenal and Fulham, he was decent. And I think he had a good pre-season as well. So I'm hoping that whatever the reason was he didn't play against Burnley, maybe had a knock, I don't know. I'm hoping he's going to be back in the team because I think this is a big season for Dorgu, and I saw some real promise in the pre-season as well. Totally deserved number 5, by the way. And again, in the theme of Luke Shaw, you might be quite surprised. I know he's not currently match fit, but who knows what could happen. He could be dropping next week if he doesn't. The problem with the chart show is if you don't play, you drop. And obviously, Mason Mount with 6.2, you have to take into account game weeks. Because somebody will say, well, if Mason Mount doesn't play again, 6.2 is always going to put him in the top 10. No, It's not just about community rating, it's about games played as well. There's got to be a direct correlation between playing games recently, playing minutes anyway. But 6.2 for Mason Mount across 3 games, I think that's something to celebrate. The only thing that's, not there to celebrate is the fact that he has got an injury at the moment. So hopefully it's not going to be too bad because, look, I don't think Mason Mount's necessarily the most popular player at Manchester United in the fan base. Number 7, should he have got it? But that's a good start to the season. He has had a good start to the season. And I think he's justifiably in at number 5. So a big shout out to Mason Mount. Let's hope he can get back fit soon. Number 4, I'm happy with this one. I don't think there's necessarily any arguments about it. You could argue he could have been higher. 6.4. I'm happy with this. 6.4 for a defender. Remembering again, the average score is 6. That means you've had average performance. 6.4 for Yoro in the first 3 games. I probably would have personally put him a bit higher. I don't disagree with any of the ratings so far. But I probably would have put Yoro higher. You're probably all trying to figure out what 3 are players ahead of him. You should have, because I did very, very quickly. But I might have put Yoro a little bit higher, actually. I mean, we are going off your community player ratings across 3 games, averaging them out. But I probably would have put Yoro a little bit higher. Very good start to the season. Still very much young player like Dorgu. Got a lot to learn, but it's a good start to the season. And we're going to need that good start to the season over the next 2 games against Man City and Chelsea, and then Liverpool on the horizon as well. So very happy with Yoro. Maybe could have been a little bit higher, but certainly a good start to the season being in the top 4, especially when you're a centre-back. I think that Ballon d'Or winners tend to be goal scorers or attackers. So, good to see the centre-backs having a bit of credit. In at number 3, and it's one of our new signings, Mbeumo. I thought he was, you thought he was fantastic against Burnley, and I thought he got a good goal against Grimsby as well. I think for a player that really clearly probably will only be starting to look match sharp from now, because he certainly didn't look match sharp in the first couple of games, I think he can only get better. And I think we're starting to see glimpses of what he did at Brentford, which is that consistency of performance, whether it be a goal or assist. I'm really excited to see what he can do, especially, look, I don't want to say too much ahead of the Man City game, but in a game like that, you would be hoping that if we get chances, you want them to drop to someone like Mbeumo, because that's basically what he did last season for Brentford. So he's in at number 3, and an average score of 6.5, which is decent, isn't it? 6.5, decent, 3rd place for him. Maybe a surprise here, maybe not. I think you can figure out who the top 2 are going to be. I certainly have, and I don't really have any issue with your votes here at all. In at number 2, though, it is Cunha. Have you guessed who's number 1? Again, 6.5 average, so the same as Cunha, but he's in at number 2. And the interesting thing about Cunha really is, and where I would bow down to your knowledge here, because this is based on, as I said, your player rating votes average out over the first 3 games, is that whilst Cunha hasn't scored many goals for Manchester United, I think what this shows is that people use the eye test over stats. Over assists and goals, you're looking at the eye test and you're looking at the importance of the player. Said it on pre-season. Feed Cunha the ball, you see the quality. He makes things happen. I think he will very quickly become our most important attacker if he can avoid injury. And I know Bruno has that role, and that is, but that, and I'm fine with that. But Bruno's playing in the midfield, of course, but he's still massively creative. But that is a compliment, what I'm saying about Cunha there. And we're already getting glimpses of it. Feed Cunha the ball. He is the next Bruno, in my opinion. I think he's the heir to the throne. And we were talking about that on the 8 o'clock show about this Saudi move, which probably will happen. Cunha looks brilliant, and I think he can only get better. Let's just hope this injury isn't too bad. Which means our first number 1 of the chart show, based on the first 3 games, averaged out on your player ratings, is, and thoroughly deserved, is De Ligt. Sit down, all the haters who said he was not physical enough and not quick enough. He has an average rating of 6.7 across the first 3 games. I think him and Yoro have been very, very good. Obviously, Luke Shaw, I don't think it's been too bad with them as well. This has been a real positive to the start of the season. Our centre-backs, our mid-back 3, whatever you want to call it, have looked very, very good. We're going to need them to be very, very good over the next 2 games, like I said about Yoro. But I think De Ligt has had a wonderful start to the season, and I think he's thoroughly justifiable, as I would have had him as my number one. If we did it like we used to, where it's my top 10, I would have had him as number one. This is your top 10. This is community-led, and I'm loving watching it, and I can't wait for the future weeks, but I'm actually in total agreement with you on who the number one is. I think De Ligt has been our best player so far this season. I think if there is an August Player of the Month award, I guarantee you he won't get it, which shows you, genuinely what I do think about those Player of the Month awards. I think they can be based on the wrong parameters, but there's nowhere to hide on this. Thousands of you do your player ratings after every single game. It averages them out, and we end up, after the first 3 games, averaging all those out with De Ligt as number one. Now, of course, as I said, next week's chart show will be based on one game, Man City. So there'll be movers and shakers. There'll be people moving in. There'll be people moving down. There'll be new entries. I'm looking at players that haven't made that top 10. Goalkeeper, Mainu, Delo, Maguire, Agate maybe, Xerxes could be playing. Where is Sheshko? All these players could be new entries next week if they have an impact in that Man City game. But for now, your top 10 is there for you to see, and your number one this week is De Ligt. Make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. Tell us your comments below if you agree or disagree and what you think about the chart show. And don't forget, you are driving this chart show now. And if I was a Man United player, I'd be monitoring this. I'd be like, you know what? This is a definitive top 10 voted for by thousands of this community. What better way to be judged? If you want to be part of that voting process, the link in the video description is there to register for the player ratings. It's free to do it. You'll get an email to sign up, and then you're there for the rest of the season, every week after every game. Thanks everyone for watching. Make sure you subscribe. Let us know about the chart show, and I'll speak to you on the next one.